Have you ever been in a relationship or with and around a guy that you really, really like, and he starts to do the things that just annoy you or turn you off? Well, we're going to talk about some of those common things that turn her off that men do, because a lot of times men don't understand, nor do they recognize that they are doing these things that actually turn us as women off. So I'm gonna come here and help you today, brother, so you can stop turning off your girl by doing some of these things here today. So the topic of today is things men do that turn her off. Now, who am I? I am Marshawn Online, your favorite shift relationship strategist, where I help Black Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved, and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated, first by yourself, and then secondly and simultaneously by your partner or by your spouse. Now, one of the first things that men do that turn off her or turn off his woman is getting mad when she does not take his advice. Women understand that you are problem solvers. We understand that this is your innate thing, is to help to solve. However, the advice that you are giving to me doesn't necessarily mean that I have to take it as your woman. There might be something else that I am thinking of that suits me better, and I don't have to take your advice. But I need to be able to come to you, bounce ideas off of you, and you not get mad if I don't decide on taking your explicit advice. Because sometimes I'm just coming to you to just talk, to vent, to get these out, right? Which leads me to point number 2 on one of the things that women just get annoyed when men do. Giving your unsolicited advice versus just listening. Because as I was starting to say, is sometimes we just want you to listen to us talk and get these things out. Women have a tendency to be very long-winded when it comes to getting things out, and it's because the majority of women do not get straight to the point. We talk in circles. And because we're talking in circles, that circle time is me trying to figure out what I'm really trying to say to you. Men speak in more direct sentences. They are very clear on what they want, what they don't want in that moment. Sometimes, not for all women, but sometimes for some women, it takes them a little while to get it out. And that talking in circles or being very long-winded is them trying to really figure out what they're trying to say to you. So sometimes women, we just want you to, sometimes as women, we just want you as our man to just sit there and listen. And so one of the things that one of you in the situation, either you as the woman or you as the man, can say, hey, I just need to vent. I just want you to listen, right? That way, you know, she don't want your advice. Or you can say, do you need my advice or do you just need me to listen? That way, you know how to interact with her, whether she just needs to vent and you're like, okay, that might've been hard. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, something like that, versus trying to interject your advice when it's unsolicited. So knowing when to give the advice is going to help you to get away from these things that you do that are super annoying to your girl. The third thing is most men do not show enough emotion. Your emotional side has not been tapped into, and this can be very frustrating and annoying for your woman, because we as women, we have nurtured this skill from the time we were little children, little girls. And unfortunately, ladies, I want you to hear this because I'm sure you're watching this. Unfortunately, your man has not been nurtured in the same way to talk about his feelings, his emotions, being open about them, because a lot of times our parents and our parents' parents, and for generations and past, they had a tendency to tell boys to man up, stop crying. And what we didn't realize is that now our men, our husbands, our teenage sons, our 20-year-olds, our 30-year-old boys are now men, and they're having a really hard time at expressing the emotional side. So it came from the nurturing and the conditioning that we gave them as little boys and it continues on. And so if you keep getting somebody to pluck this in you, stop, 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 don't do. At some point, you're going to make that your innate thing that you do. And this is what our men have started to do. And so they have a harder time expressing their emotional side. However, especially if you're a man, you're watching this video, you have to find a way to tap into your emotional side and not see it as a weakness. Not see it as you being a weak man, a weak brother. Because we want to see that side of you, especially being your girl, especially being your woman. We need for you to be able to express yourself even more, even more. So find a way to tap into your emotional side more often, especially with your woman. So she's not annoyed and frustrated with you by shutting down, closing this off, or even trying to change the subject, because we know exactly what you're doing. We might not say anything, but we know exactly what you're trying to do by changing the subject. You are avoiding the question. You are avoiding tapping into your emotional side. And that can be very frustrating because we don't feel connected to you. So in order for us to feel more connected to you, you have to find a way to tap into your emotional side more often, including but not limiting to crying. It's not a weakness. It is actually you showing your strength. The fourth thing is not showing her love the way that she needs it. What does that mean? You have to figure out and understand what your woman's love languages are, and specifically the top three. The top three love languages, actually research has shown that when you know what your partners, in this case your spouse or significant other, what their love languages are, the top three, and you express them or show them to her in this way, then you too can have a very great relationship. Now, this also means that she needs to know yours and express your top three as well. Some of them will overlap. Others will be tougher for you to implement and show because it is not something that you're used to doing. It might not be your go-to or innate ability. Like, you might not always want to cuddle emotional time, right? That's harder, a lot harder for most men, right? The quality time sometimes can be hard for both sexes, but whatever that thing or those top three are, you need to figure them out. If you have not taken the quiz to figure out what your top three love languages are, literally Google it. The 5 love languages quiz. Google that, take the quiz, send it to your significant other or your spouse. Y'all both take the quiz, and then you figure out what your top three are, and then have a discussion about, okay, this is my top three, those are your top three. I need to be better at showing you your top three, and you need to also reciprocate and be better at showing me my top three, so we can really start to build and create the relationship that we're going to both be happy in and happy to be a part of on a continuous basis, not just every once in a while. We're looking for bliss more often than not, right? So not showing her the love language the way that she needs it, because most of us have a tendency to show love the way that we want it. So like if you're a person that likes gifts, you might all the time try to bring your significant other, in this case your wife or your girlfriend, gifts all the time, not realizing that gifts are great to her, but if that's not one of the top three, you're not really hitting the mark to show that you love her, even though you're feeling like, I'm doing everything, I do love her, this is how I love her, right? But you have to figure out how to show her love the way that she needs it, not the way that you want to just give it to her. This is how you understand your spouse on a deeper level, by giving the things that she needs in order to feel loved. Number 5 is the domestic duties. We are in 2022, and women work just as much as men, if not even more, or at the same level, meaning overtime all the time, or just getting on the grind all the time. In 2022, still more than 50% of households is where the women are still doing most, if not all, of the domestic duties, including but not limited to taking care of the children, the little ones, where the men are still being found to not help either at all or very, very little. And this could be very annoying and frustrating because you have to really give some grace and mercy and also put yourself in your wife's or significant other's shoes. Because if I'm working all day, if I'm rearing the children, if I'm making sure the homework is done, making sure that I get them to all of their appointments and get them to whatever event is going on, play dates and all, swim lessons, soccer, all of these things. And I'm making sure that everything is organized, everything is in order, including but not limited to me trying to make sure that I have a social life, me trying to make sure that I am taking care of me, my alone time, and then also our time as couple time together. It's a lot of things to think about, as well as to start to organize and keep track of when I'm taking on all, if not most, of the domestic duties as well. So if you want to cut down on some of the annoyance and frustration from your girl, please help out. Please help out specifically with the domestic duties. Specifically with the domestic duties. It has to be more of a give and take. Now, if this works for your relationship and you're good, what I'm talking about right now ain't for you. But if you're frustrated and annoyed, or if you've heard your girl complain to you or talk about this more than one time, she's asking for your help without trying to nag you about it. She needs your help. It's a team, it's a partnership. It is not one-sided. And you're not the only one who's bringing home the bacon now, okay? Okay? Number 6 is never admitting that you are wrong. Now, with this entire list, including but not limited to never admitting that you're wrong, we know that this is not for all men. However, the majority of my clients are women that come to me. And this is a constant complaint that keeps coming up. Never admitting that you're wrong / not taking responsibility for your actions. You're doing the blame game. It's not sexy. It does not turn me on and the women that are coming to me complaining about you as the man. You have to find a way to admit to you being wrong, because again, just like your emotional side, this actually shows your strength, not your weakness. It is actually sexy for you to say, you know what? My bad. I messed up. How can I fix this? I won't do that again, right? It's easier. The other thing is you are prolonging the frustration and anger by not admitting to you being wrong. Because after a while, I cannot trust you. And she can't either. She can't trust you. So you can stop this by just simply admitting that you're wrong, apologizing for the things that you've done, taking responsibility for your actions, so you two can move forward, move on from this. Because apologies can save a relationship, which actually leads me to point number 7, which is the final point, is never apologizing. Nobody is always right. No one in this world, me included. None of us are always right. But you have to be man enough, because you want to be the man. You want to wear the pants and everything, right? You want to be respected and honored and appreciated as the man of the house. Well, guess what? You have to act like the man of the house in order to get these things. They're not just given because you're the man. You have to actually step into the men's shoes, wear the man's pants, and also act like the man as well. And manning up is apologizing. It is saying I was wrong. It is admitting to you not being right, and then asking how can you fix this, as well as coming up with a solution for this to never be done again. Stop making these common mistakes that most people are not talking about it unless they come to see someone like myself. You have the power as the man to stop making a lot of these mistakes by owning up to them, number 1, and then doing something, which means taking action to change things around. Because it doesn't matter if you know the information, if you never do anything with it. You only become empowered when you do something with the information that you actually have. And since you're watching this and you actually come to this point in the video, you have the information. You have some tools to implement now into your relationship, so your relationship can turn around and be better, more blissful, and the two of you can remain more connected. I am Marshawn Olanio, your favorite shift relationship strategist, where I help Black Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. I love you guys. And guess what? I am not just picking on the men, because in the next video that you will see that I'm actually talking about the common things that women do that annoy the man. So wait for that video. Check it out after this one, depending on when you are watching this video. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.